let's talk about a term that people like to use called dirty bulking, which pretty much means I'm lazy and I just want to have an excuse to eat whatever I want and get fat and say that I'm trying to gain muscle. That's what it really fucking is. Because honestly, if you're in an off season, you're trying to make improvement and you're trying to add muscle and you're trying to either get big to impress some bitch or you're trying to fucking compete on stage and win a competition next year, that off season deserves just as much attention as contest time. Granted, you'll be able to go out every once in a while, you know, have a drink, go out to eat, whatever in the off season because, you know, you need excess calories. It's not going to kill you. But as far as constructing your diet and having a game plan, it needs to have just as much attention brought to it as doing a contest prep. Because you can fuck up an off season, you can fuck up gaining muscle just like you can fucking up losing fat. Now, the thing is with eating the shit food to try to gain, it's kind of the same concept I preach with the cheat meal. You know, it's a shot in the dark. You don't know if it's going to work or not. And if it does work, you don't know what element worked. If you go eat like pizza and burger and fries and it bumped your metabolism up to lose weight the next week, using a dieting example, okay, well, that worked, but was it the fats? Was it the carbs? Was it a little bit of protein? Was it a combination of the two? I don't know. So if I do it again next weekend, it may not work because I don't know what exactly fucking worked. You want to try to keep this a controlled environment as much as possible so you know what each variable does, so you know which variable to tweak or which variable to take out and replace with another variable and so forth. And all of us know this, but we don't want to accept it. So we come up with shit like this to fuck ourselves up, and the people with good genetics that can eat anything can get away with it, and then 99% of the world thinks they can fucking do it too. If you start putting on too much excess weight, body fat wise, it's going to be harder for your body to gain more muscle to a certain extent. I think dead weight is going to tax your cardiovascular system. If you're trying to carry weight that doesn't produce work, hence body fat, it's like putting a big rucksack on your back full of weight. It just makes it harder to move around. If you put on muscle and then train the muscle how to work, that muscle can put forth effort and make up for the extra weight that's there. But when you put on body fat doesn't produce work, so it can't do that. Even with gaining muscle, though, to a certain extent, I think you do need to bring in do cardio at certain times just so you can bring up your cardiovascular health so you can carry the extra weight so it's not uncomfortable to be big. And also some cardio, like, they'll also help you absorb the nutrients better, which will help you get bigger. So there's some guys that have a hard time gaining and they'll do some light walking or something after they eat or post-workout and they start gaining weight because their body assimilates the food better. Oh, and if you get so big and so much extra water weight and fat you get uncomfortable, it's hard to train. And if it impedes your training, then your results are going to suffer. So you don't want to eat to a point to where you're uncomfortable and can't move around because then you can't fucking work out. If you can't work out, all that food you eat is going to fucking waste. You got to eat structured all the time. You just have to change how much, what you eat, things like that according to your goals. Your workouts need to be just as detailed. If you're bringing up weak body parts, you got to know how to target those to grow a little bit faster than others so you can catch up. Now, what are the proper things to do? Well, when it comes to getting bigger, a lot of it can be common sense if you know your basic knowledge of what protein, carbs, and fats do. About everything in your body is made of protein, muscle, hair, nails, what the fuck ever. Carbs are for energy. Fats contribute to a few things, hormone production. You know, they also, muscle cells are also made out of fats. They regulate the speed of digestion, which protein does as well. In some cases, when building diet plans, I say fats are fillers because if there's room in the calories, but all the other macronutrients are met, put the fats in there because it'll slow everything else down to make up for the extra calories they need, and it can also contribute to more muscle growth. Carbs is where everybody usually goes overboard. They want to get big in off-season, they think they need a shitload of carbs. That's really not the case. Usually it's protein and fats what they need. They need enough carbs to get through the day and get through their workout. Now, carbs don't build muscle, but they do contribute to muscle building. I say this because carbs cause your body to release insulin. Insulin is extremely anabolic and very anti-catabolic, and it increases your protein synthesis. So you want to have your body to release as endogenous insulin certain times of the day. And you can control that by eating certain types of carbohydrates at certain times of the day. So carbohydrates can set the environment to build muscle. They can keep cortisol low, your glycogen stores high, so that you can train balls to the wall, and they also stimulate insulin release, which helps build muscle. When you learn those few things about these three macronutrients, it's fucking common sense. If you're trying to get bigger and you're getting too fat, cut your fucking carbs down, or add in cardio. 2 or 3 times a week post workout, or in the morning, or cut your carbs down and do some cardio for a few weeks and get the fat off and then go back to building up. Protein. If you're not getting bigger, stronger, you try increasing your protein, but once you're about 1.5 grams per pound of lean mass, I would probably stop there until I've noticed you gain some more lean mass, then increase it to compensate for that. If you're still not gaining weight with the protein in there, add the fats. Fats will at least slow it down to where you absorb more of the nutrients, and which will help you build more muscle. So, and one thing you guys also have to consider when you're enjoying eating all this shit food and trying to get bigger and you think you're getting big, first off, you got more to lose when you want to cut, and then when you get down there, you realize you didn't put on that much more muscle, and if you did put on some more, you had probably lost it trying to cut all that fat off because you got too fucking fat because you don't know how to eat. If you do this the right way, the leaning out periods are shorter, easier, and the gains are better because you don't sacrifice as much muscle getting all that off because you didn't become a fucking fat ass in the off season. If I had to give an exception, maybe hard gainers, like guys that stay skinny all the time, but I've worked with them and fed them clean and they still grow. Also, I do cheat meals in the off season to help guys get big because you need a little excess calories. You just can't eat like that all the fucking time, and that's what this is, and that's what this is. You just get fucking fat. So 1 to 2, I usually start clean, and then I'll put in 1 cheat meal, and then I'll put in 2 if they need it. And usually, even with the hard gainers that I've seen, it's not a fact of the usual stuff doesn't work. It's just they think they're doing the usual stuff and they really don't know what the fuck they're doing. And once I organize their diet like it should be, clean, without cheat meals, they start growing. Because, oh, this is how you're supposed to do it. They never knew how to do it in the first place. They go to some free website and get some bullshit information. They can't gain weight. And they come to find out, I look at their diet and it's completely not even close to what they should have been doing. And then I fix it and then they start growing. So usually the hard gainer thing is usually there's something I don't know that I need to learn. It's usually what the exception is. That's usually what the hard gainer is. And the only way you're going to permanently fix that problem is to go through a proper process and troubleshoot and find the variable with that specific person that no other specific person has that they need in order to make their results. And if you just say, okay, eat a bunch of shit food, you didn't fix the problem, put a Band-Aid on it, that's not going to work for the next guy, may not even work for that guy. It doesn't fix the fucking problem. You didn't identify the problem. You just washed your hands of it and moved on. And you're not going to get as far as you could have if you'd taken the time to troubleshoot and figure out what the reason was why you couldn't put on any muscle. All this shit makes sense. All you guys know this. It's only like 10% of you want to fucking accept it. This is how it works.